3, 2, 1. Umar Ahmed, IFL TV, MTK Global, joined by a sweating Frank Smith.
Not sweating, just hot. Just a little bit roasting in here.
What's the weather like in Mexico?
Huh? Oh, mate. Horrendously hot. Amazing place, though. Yeah, Hermosillo, you should have come.
I was in another part of the world, so...
You were in Russia. How was that?
Good. I mean, obviously disappointing the way it ended for Anthony, but the experience in Russia was good. Don't believe what you hear in the media, basically.
No, to be fair, we watched the fight, actually. There was about 20 of us watching it. He gave an unbelievable account of himself, and I'm sure he'll be back even stronger. So it was very impressive. But Kovalev's experienced and been around for a long time, but I think it was a great showing from Anthony Yarde. So congrats to him. Obviously didn't get a result, but...
Yeah, his profile's definitely gone up, and in that 8th round it looked like he was going to stop him. What were you guys thinking when watching it?
Yeah, no, completely. It completely turned the fight around, didn't it? Because he hadn't really won 2 rounds before that, and I think it's that experience factor, I guess, isn't it? Being in with someone like Kovalev, he hasn't really been in with anyone of that level before. But he showed that he can do. He's got that element of strength. If he goes out there and he puts it on someone, maybe 10 seconds longer he would have stopped him. So, he's shown that he can definitely come back, and I think it was a great performance, as I said.
You see Joshua Buatsi in action this weekend. I mean, down the line, that is a huge fight.
Yeah, JB, I think he is the best prospect in world boxing. I think he's an unbelievable fighter. Be interesting to see the fight this weekend. He wanted someone who would go to rounds. And I think Ford, will do that. I think, again, before stepping up into these bigger fights, you need the varying experience. He's had a lot of amateur experience, but it doesn't really compare to stepping up to as a professional into the bigger fight. So I think this is another fight. We'll keep him busy. He's been active. Obviously fought Paraban in June on the Joshua undercard. I think that's a massive fight down the line. I think JB does the business in that fight.
Talking about Joshua, Andy Ruiz has come out and finally said he is going to Saudi Arabia. What was kind of the reaction when you guys saw that, or did you know that post was coming?
Yeah, look, we always knew it was coming. It was a bit of media fun, wasn't it, for you guys? Everyone likes reporting on a new story. So, but yeah, it's good that it's now been confirmed by Andy Ruiz publicly, and it's going to be exciting. The first fight. One of the fight. This is the biggest fight in the world right now. I don't know if you agree. I don't want to be the only one, so glad Umar just agreed. But yeah, this is the biggest fight out there, and I think it's going to be a historic event on Saturday, 7th of December, in Adiria.
We saw Joshua do an interview with Sky Sports and Woolhouse. There was a couple of points that really stuck out. One being he called Lennox Lewis a clown. What were your thoughts on that? Obviously, everyone was talking about that on social media.
He obviously thinks he's a clown, doesn't he? Everyone's got their own rights to have their own opinion, haven't they? He obviously has his reasoning for why he says it. And, I think Lennox has come out since said he hasn't really said much about Joshua, but, it's been over social media in the past. I think some of the things he said obviously pissed AJ off. But he is right to have his own opinion on what he thinks, isn't he? It definitely caused a bit of a media stir, didn't it? Have you spoken to him about it?
No, I haven't, no. But in terms of that comment, I mean, there was a lot of people saying, maybe should have taken that thing out. Do you think Joshua's sort of got his head on him still? People suggested he's losing it a bit?
No, not at all. He can't really win, though, can he? Because if he doesn't say anything, it's like, he's just doing what he's told. Then he comes out and says what he says. He shouldn't say these things. It's like, well, what do you want? Like, he can't really win. And in that sense, I've not feel sorry for it. But he can't please everyone, and everyone always changes their mind. I prefer him when he didn't say anything. And when he didn't say anything, everyone used to say he's just media trained. He's just told what to say. He's told what to do. It's like, well, what do you want? So I think that's always going to be the battle. I think that's partly the British public as well, isn't it? They like to build someone up, and then they like to knock them down. But it's all part and parcel. It's what everyone can have their opinion on him. It's the great thing about it.
Well, someone that a lot of people are behind is Luke Campbell. We've just seen a documentary about him. He's in an absolutely huge fight this Saturday night, going up against probably the best fighter on the planet. But yeah, Luke, brilliant amateur pedigree. He's mixed it with Linares, Mendy, and he's been at that level for a long time. It's going to be a great occasion on Saturday night.
Yeah, 100%. I hope the public really get behind Luke Campbell and not try and push people back down and say, why is he fighting it? You know, because as we've seen in the past with other fighters who go in and take tough tests, like this is their dream, is to fight the biggest fights out there. So I just hope the British public really get behind him and, you know, push for a Luke Campbell win on Saturday. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's a very tough test. Everyone knows that. But I think Luke Campbell is in the best stage of his career to take this fight, where he is mentally, where he is physically, and with his training team around it. I think he's in a great place. Just talking to him, and you know, I've known him for 7 years now since he came out of the Olympics, and you know, you can really see the difference with him over the years. So hard fight, but now is the time for him to do it. And Lomachenko isn't unbeatable, is it? We've seen that. So yeah, so it's going to be exciting.
How quickly did it sell out?
It was about, to be honest, I think it was about 14 days. Yeah, we'll have 20,000 people in there. And we've actually, I think, I'll have to double check, I think we've broken the record because they've added some new seats in at the O2. So I think we've broken our previous record.
Congratulations on that. How was Mexico, by the way, in terms of the actual card? I haven't caught up on it.
Brilliant, entertaining from top to bottom. You had Espino and Pacheco, two young prospects. They were in great fights against Mexicans, actually. So that was made for a good atmosphere, even early in the evening. You had Liam Smith, beefy, did really well. And again, in with a Mexican. So I think he walked out. The Mexican got more cheers than him, but it was another good experience for him. John O'Carroll, always entertaining, looked really good. Back out after his fight against Tevin Farmer, obviously earlier this year. And what was good with him, you know, he's come off the back of the Fremoir fight and the Farmer fight, and he wanted to go straight back in there in another 10-round fight, and that's nice to see because fighters don't always want to do that. But I think at his stage of his career, he knows that's the way he's going to develop and wants to go. So it was good. Filip Hrgović, that was fun while it lasted against Mario Heredia. He was throwing a few. Another Mexican guy. All of our fighters got out there. They were like the opponents were getting more cheers. Giasov stopped Arlis Perez in 30 seconds. So, you know, he'd come off the back of that Emmanuel Taylor fight earlier in the year in LA. Looked really strong. And the main event, Estrada Beamon. That was brilliant while it lasted as well. I think 10 rounds it went. I can't remember. I haven't had much sleep, to be honest. But he was, very entertaining as well. And that makes up for that big fight at the unification against Carrier Fire, hopefully later this year.
Do you think that will land in America, or could that be in Birmingham?
I think we're working on it at the minute. I think more than likely in the US.
Now, certain sources on Twitter tell me that... Sources from Mike Coppinger. I don't know where he gets his sources from.
He's got a lot of ketchup and mayonnaise. Different type of sauces.
Tells me Josh Taylor, the Regis Prograis, and Derek Chisora, Joseph Parker is going to land on a Sky Sports pay-per-view deal.
Do they? Sources? Well, I have to wait and see whether the sources are incorrect or correct.
That would be some build-up, wouldn't it? So them two sort of headliners.
I think that would be a great build, yeah.
So you've also announced, we had the press conference today actually up in Newcastle. Fantastic bill, Ritson and Robbie Davis Jr. headlining. Also got the Fitzgerald fight, and Dave Allen's back in action. Good to see Dave back.
Yeah, Dave, I think, you know, he thought about his next steps. He's still very young, and I think he wants to, you know, he sort of had that, he beat, he had the fight in London against Nick Webb, huge knockout, and then he went from there and sort of became this, he was already a star, but went on this run, didn't he? And, you know, he lost against David Price, who's, you know, respected. He's been around for a long time. And I think it's providing he's fit and healthy, which he is, you know, been checked over, everything. It's right that he comes back. He wants, he's not over with it yet, and I think he's got a lot more to give. So, you know, he'll be back, and I think we'll, you know, look to build him back up from there. Great show, Ritson against Davis. Already sold 4,000 tickets today. Exciting night. Newcastle atmosphere is always through the roof, isn't it? Were you there against Patera? Honestly, you got to be there at this one. It's unbelievable. So very excited for that one.
All right, Frank Smith, we look forward to a huge night at the O2 on Saturday. Is there anything you want to add?
No, just tune in. Public workout tomorrow, live from York Hall. It's going to be fun. Press conference Thursday, weigh-in Friday. Fight night Saturday. Exciting night, top to bottom.
Cheers, Frank. Thank you.